welcome to Smart Music Part 1 of 4. This is going to be talking about setting up a classroom and setting up a gradebook. To get us started, we're going to start with smartmusic.com. And we're going to come to this login. You're going to use your email that's assigned to this. If you haven't done that yet, it's going to ask you to put in that email, make an account with your name and your password. But let's assume we're past that. It's going to bring you to this option, New or Classic. We're going to click New so it works in browser. And we're going to be looking at a plain dashboard today to start us. So this is, we just walked into the program for the first time. We're going to want to make a class, very easy. We're going to bring ourselves up to this corner, this little plus. Give that a click. And we're going to click Create a Class. When you get to this portion, your school district will be featured here. This is my school district, so I'm going to click Barstow Junior High School. I might be getting banned. And I'm just going to use this as my tryout class. Last date to join this class. So you can set this for if you wanted to cap it off at the first week of school. I'm actually going to push it all the way through first semester because we want students, if they join our school in October, to be able to sign up for your class. If somebody joins late and you have this capped off, just know you'd have to go into these same settings and change the parameters as from the last day to join that class to add another student in, and that can be extra work that we don't need to have. We can kind of have it divided semester 1, semester 2 if we want to. So I'm going to create a class now. This is the name the students are going to see. I could change that if I wanted to Miss G, but I'm just going to leave it as my name for now. So now it's going to bring you to this screen. You're going to see the class name. Class details would be where we go to adjust things like last date to join class or the display name of the class or anything like that. If we come to over here, we'll see class code. This is going to be what we want to share. Oops, it wants me to look it up. What we want to share with our students. And this how to enroll is going to give you the long version. Here's the short version. Copy class code. If you copy down these letters right here, you can share that on Google Classroom. The students will have a link to a login page, which I'll be including below. And they type this in as the class that they're trying to join, and then they make their account. If we wanted to email this out to parents and we had that kind of information, or students had an email, I know in our school district, the students can't actually check an email, but we would have an email template that basically sends your students invited to blah, 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 smart music class. This is the code. Now that means also second semester. If I want to do a new class and I want to call it semester 2, I can re-enroll. Okay, so now that we have our class our information to share out to our students, we're going to want to make a rubric and things to start the grading process for this class. The little house, it brought me home to our home screen, and I'm going to click assignments. And there's no assignments yet because we haven't made them. I will be making one in video 2, and that'll change how this page looks, but for now we're going to actually come up here. It says class settings and tools. Give that a click. Alright, and it says let's create a grading scale. So you can import previous ones. So if this was maybe our second or third class, I can just borrow from what I chose to do the first time. Since this is an initial setup, we're going to have to create a new grading scale. And I'm going to just call it standard. So if I give my students an A, or I could call it a superior, or I could call it an excellent, right? Whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to call it an A because it makes it easier when it moves over to my book. And I want to put that in, I'm going to say 90% to 100% is an A. There we go. And you can adjust this however you want. You can make it grade if your school doesn't use those standard grades. Maybe they use numbers or something like that. Or we want to relate it to like festival rankings. We could also do it that way. And you just call it what you want to call it. And then you give the percentages for when it auto grades. And I'm going to click Save Grading Scale. Okay. Grading calendar. This is going to be so that we can set up when it's going to cap assignments. So we can make it for the whole school year, or we can make it for a quarter. And that's going to come into play when we get to the assignments part in the next video. So I'm going to say for us, our first quarter, I'm going to call this QTR 1, right? Quarter 1. And I'm still going to call it that, right? our start date for that is going to be probably not the first week of school, maybe starting the second week of school. And it's going to go through. So let's say I wanted to go to progress reports for us. That's about 6 weeks in. I'd make it around here. If I wanted to go to the end of the quarter, it might be, I'm going to guess and say that date. And we could do this so I could set it up for each quarter ahead of time. Also, this should be a Q. See what I mean about the spelling? And we can set that up ahead of time so that there's different times that it releases this out to students for them to be able to work on it. If you want to just sort of semester one blanket, you can also do that. That way all assignments are sort of kept in whenever the grading calendar is. And it's just because if it's in first quarter, for example, then let's say the first quarter ends on 10/9. That means as of 10/10, whatever assignments were in quarter one, the students won't be able to do anymore. And so with that, you have your class set up. You have a class, you have your grading scale, and you have your grading calendar. In video 2, we're going to talk about how we actually assign music to students.